hosts versus the councilman, what they're doing in the community.
Hey, this is Blaktitanic. Hit that like button, share and subscribe. Today we're talking about the thug passion. But let me tell you guys, the first one to get Alpha Owner to 1,000 subscribers have a book of her choice. You got the Thug Passion, you got Angels and the Time of Trouble, and you also got Blaktitanic, all written by And the reason I'm playing this song is because my grandfather used to sit me on his knees almost daily and cry. He would be thinking about his sister that was aboard the Titanic that drowned. So you have a choice of that book. Also, this book of Pebbles. Authority captured the fort, Pebbles said, when Priceville Captain Rick Williams surprised two men cutting the telephone wire at Region Banks in Foodland Shopping Center on Alabama 67. William was on routine patrol about 3 a.m. when he saw two men dressed in black. No doubt they were after the ATM cash dispenser at the bank, Pebbles said. The men ran, and Williams chased them into Veterans Park before they eluded. After these found the suspect in a ditch behind McDonald's, Pebbles said. According to Morgan County Jail records, the two suspects are Samuel Hope, that is Martell's brother, 3509 in Klein Road, Huntsville, and Rashawn Joel Carter, 27 of 3603 Marymount Drive, Huntsville. Anyway, my family still live on that street, y'all, Marymount. William also located a suspicious car in a parking lot between Veterans Park and the shopping center that contained burglars' tools, Pebbles said. It was a rental car from Madison. During that time, a second vehicle pulled it up, one that Williams had noticed in the area earlier that morning. In the car, William found Martell Holtz, age 23. That was around about the time he married Melody, of 6500 Woods Lane, Huntsville, and Deborah Holtz. Deborah Holtz is Martell's sister-in-law, of 3302 Horseshoe Drive Trail, Orange Park, Florida. Both were black. They claimed the car park belonged to a friend whom they were to meet, Pebbles said. He said Martell Hope, a jailer at the Madison County Jail, had called in sick to get off work. Pebbles said Williams became suspicious because Deborah Hope had a police scanner in her boot, and she and Martell Hope had a two-way walkie-talkie. Man, they were smart. No wonder they was getting away with it. Pebbles and Samuel Holtz is Deborah Holtz's husband and Martell Holtz's uncle. Priceville police charged all four with possession of burglary tools and transferred them to the Morgan County Jail. Police also charged Deborah Holtz with 4 counts of insufficient funds. She is out of jail on a $101,200 bond. The other 3 are out of jail on $100,000 bond. Corey said one of the 4 is a suspect in the Food Mart robbery. That investigation is continuing, he said. The sheriff department received a description that the armed robber is a black male, about 6 feet tall, who wore a white do-rag and dark clothes, Corey said. But
so you guys see how the two men view the community. One is the house Negro, which would be Martell. He don't care about the community. He take on the identity of his captor. Bump the black community. We gonna go out here and heck rabbit. And then you got the councilman that's out there trying to teach and preach and uproot. Today we'll be listening at Malcolm X for Black History Month. He's talking about the house Negro and the field Negro. So now I am comparing Councilman Keith as the field Negro and using Martell as the house Negro. Let's hear it.
To understand this, you have to go back to what young brother here referred to as the house Negro and the field Negro. Back during slavery, there was two kinds of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The house Negro, they lived in the house with master. They dressed pretty good. They ate good because they ate his food because he left. They lived in the attic or the basement, but still they lived near their master. And they loved the master more than the master loved himself. They would give their life to save the master's house quicker than the master would. The house Negro, if the master said, we got a good house here, the house Negro said, yeah, we got a good house here. Whenever the master said we, he said we. That's how you can tell a house Negro. If the master's house caught on fire, the house Negro would fight harder to put the blaze out than the master would. If the master got sick, the house Negro would say, what's the matter, boss? We sick. We sick. He identified himself with his master more than his master identified with himself. And if you came to the house Negro and said, let's run away, let's escape, let's separate, that house Negro would look at you and say, man, you crazy. What do you mean separate? Where is there a better house than this? Where can I wear better clothes than this? Where can I eat better food than this? That was that house Negro. In those days, he was called a house nigger. And that's what we call him today because we still got some house niggers running around here. This modern house Negro loves his master. He wants to live near him. He'll pay 3 times as much as the house is worth just to live near his master. And then brag about, I'm the only Negro out here. I'm the only one on my job. I'm the only one in this school who's nothing but a house Negro. And if someone come to you right now and say, let's separate, you say the same thing that the house Negro said on the plantation. What you mean separate? From America? This good white man? When you gonna get a better job than you get here? I mean, this is what you say. I ain't left nothing in Africa. That's what you say while you left your mind in Africa. On that same plantation, there was the field Negro. The field Negro, those were the masses. There was always more Negroes in the field than there was Negroes in the house. The Negro in the field caught hell. He ate leftovers. In the house, they ate high up on the hole. The Negro in the field didn't get nothing but what was left of the insides of the hole. They call them chitlins nowadays. In those days, they call them what they were, guts. That's what you were, a gut eater. And some of you all still gut eaters. The field Negro was beaten from morning till night. He lived in a shack, in a hut. He wore cast-off clothes. And he hated his master. I say he hated his master. He was intelligent. That house Negro loved his master. But that field Negro, remember, they were in the majority. And they hated his master.
It's the President's Day Super Sale at Furniture Row. Right now, save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Check out special purchases while they last, plus 4 years no interest financing. The President's Day Super Sale.
And they hated his master. When the house caught on fire, he didn't try and put it out. That field Negro prayed for a wind, for a breeze. When the master got sick, the field Negro prayed that he died. If someone come to the field Negro and said, let's separate, let's run, he didn't say, where are we going? He said, any place is better than here. You got field Negroes in America today. I'm a field Negro. The masters are the field Negroes. When they see this man's house on fire, you don't hear these little Negroes talking about our government is in trouble. They say the government is in trouble. Imagine a Negro, our government. I even heard one say, our astronauts. They won't even let him near the planet. And our astronauts, our Navy, that's a Negro that's out of his mind. That's a Negro that's out of his mind. Just as the slave master.
That's how I feel about Martell, y'all. Martell making fun of Councilman. Martell's a black man himself. He's been in trouble with the law, you know. He's familiar with the law and how they do black men. But, you know, he look at himself as better than the councilman, because the councilman is still down there in the hood trying to raise the consciousness of the black people. Martell got on his European suits, got his chest all poked out. Look at me, I'm better than you. Because after all, I don't like Terry Heights. That's where he come from. Terry Heights, you know. So now he can look down on the people in Terry Heights. But his grandmama probably still down that way. His mama still down that way. His cousin, all of them still down that way. But, you know, he can't understand why the councilman is saying, why can't we lift our people out? Why can't we help our friends mentally get out of this mental rut that they're in? So what do this man do? Make fun. Yeah, Melody, hope you got a GoFundMe, like as if he a broke man. He's not broke, Martell. You feel like because you in front of the TV, everybody gonna view you as this celebrity, this millionaire. He's not broke, you house Negro. Yeah, Melody, you need to get a GoFundMe for Councilman Keith. Yes, making fun of the man. Making fun of him because he's down there in the community, caring about the people in the community, and you are the opposite. You the prayer. You are to just go down there and destroy the hood, stealing and robbing. Let's keep it going, y'all.
That day, used Tom, the house Negro, to keep the field Negroes in check. The same old slave master today has Negroes who are nothing but modern Uncle Toms, 20th century Uncle Toms, to keep you and me in check, keep us under control, keep us passive and peaceful and non-violent. That's Tom making you non-violent. It's like when you go to the dentist and the man is going to take your tooth. You're going to fight him when he starts pulling. So they squirt some stuff in your jaw called Novocaine to make you think they're not doing anything to you.
So that y'all looking at Mr. Crump. Every time a black man die, there go Mr. Crump and there go all them pastors. They come down there, yeah, Malcolm X talk about, to tell you, look, you got to forgive. Don't be up here angry. They ain't gonna give you no money for your dead loved one if you come up here talking about something you ain't forgiven. So they bring in them pastors because they do not want black people, black women, black dads, black mothers, black brothers, fathers, sisters. When someone been violent, killed, or under police brutality, they come there to keep you calm so you would not make the larger society uncomfortable now. They don't care about what your feelings or whether your loved one has been brutally murdered. The point is that you have to keep your mouth closed and make us comfortable. Oh, I forgive. And Crump, I can't stand that man. Y'all see him as this hero. This man is an ambulance chaser. Tamir Rice fired him because he told Tamir Rice that she can't get up there on that stage and be crying over her dead son and talking about the way she was talking because she was angry how this cop had killed her 12-year-old child. And Crump said, well, you can't get up there talking like that, though. You ain't gonna get no money. So she fired him. So anybody that Crump has, he gonna bring on them pastors and he gonna tell them what to say when they get in front of that camera. They are not allowed to express their anger or their hurt. They are not allowed to step on the head of the person that been killed them, the house Negro and the field Negro.
So you sit there and because you got all that Novocaine in your jaw, you suffer peacefully. Blood running all down your jaw. And you don't know what's happening. Because someone has taught you to suffer peacefully. The white man do the same thing to you in the street. When you want to put knots on your head and take advantage of you and don't have to be afraid of you fighting back. To keep you from fighting back, you get these old religious Uncle Toms to teach you and me. But just like Novocaine, suffer peacefully. Don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. As Reverend Keith pointed out, let your blood flow in the streets. This is the scene.
Something too. Yeah, y'all just something.
When the markets fluctuate, it's natural to feel uncertain about your portfolio and your investment decision.
Please, this is a shame. And you know he's a Christian preacher. If it's a shame to him, you know what it is to me.
Watch it now, hit that like button, share and subscribe.
There's nothing in our book, the Quran, as you call it, Quran, teaches us to suffer peacefully. Our religion teaches us to be intelligent, be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hand on you, send them to the cemetery.
And you know what? Speaking of the Bible, I think it's Malachi, it's the last book in the Bible, verses 1 to 3. God said, I love Jacob, but I hate Esau. Oh, y'all look over that. You look over that, because you into this forgiveness. It don't fit into the society. It come way back from slavery days. Where they teach you, you got to forgive us. Anything we do to you and your family is right. You're listening to the House Negro and the Field Negro. And why do Martell feel the need to think he's better than this man, this black man? Because he's wearing this three-piece suit every day. And the councilman is out there in the field, in the hood, trying to raise the consciousness of our people. While he out there preying on our people. He out there preying on the women. That's what he doing. Martell. You're watching Councilman Keith.
Here, I have learned what it might mean to hold the door in a story that is very unique to this parallel. There was this guy early on in his career. He received what was a recruitment letter in the early years of the 1900s when land-grant colleges, better known as HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, sent out across the nation, scouring the land, looking for individuals who were willing to come south of the Mason-Dixon and teach freely nude slaves. Understanding the ramifications with that, they put together a list of things to be understood when one was traveling from other parts of the nation to a place where an unelected man reigns supreme. That unelected man's name is Jim Crow. And he had garnered so much control in the South. It was known but untouchable. And you could only see remnants of moments of Jim Crow. So he gets 2 tickets. One is to take him from where he started, which is Boston, South Station, go Sox, and go all the way down to the Carolinas. The Carolinas is where he gets to having taken an integrated cart on the first leg. For the first time in his life, he understands it and he sees it. He says, colored and white. Understanding the tonation in his skin, he makes this decision and walks into what is a crowded railroad waiting station. The room is full. It is diverse. He sees a young lady with her teenage boy. He sees an elder gentleman with his wife. He sees a couple of children with an older man. And he sees a number of what looks to be college students headed in the same direction as he. So he sits down and he waits. And then something catches his eye. This young man gets up and he walks to the corner. He does something that's a little bit surprising. He starts to relieve himself. Now, before you judge him, there's 2 places in America you can still do that. One, I just did it last weekend. It was on the second hole, trying to find my 8th golf ball, off in the bushes somewhere. The other place, and I'm sure some of you know, I've heard about it, is earlier in the year on a street called Bourbon, late in the night. Heard about it. But this wasn't New Orleans, nor anybody's country club. He was doing this in the public in the corner, and the professor felt uncomfortable. He said, I'm convicted to tell you, young man, excuse me, you can use the restroom. The room looked at him, he looked at the room, and the young man says to him, sir, I would, but I don't have the dime to pay the toll. He says, what do you mean? He says, well, here, Jim Crow has made it to where if you want to use the restroom, one must pay in a change lock in order to use it. and I just don't have that money. And this is where I think leadership has a transition. The professor says, okay, reaches into his pocket. I have a little bit of change left over on my way down. He says, I'll pay the lot. And I'll open the door and you'll go in. And he turns to the crowd. He says, who else has to use the restroom? Hands go up. He says, okay, this is what we'll do. Line up. All of those who need to use the restroom. And when this young man gets done, he'll come out. And he'll do those three famous words. He'll hold the door. And then the next person, don't forget, 3 words. Hold the door. And then the next person, and then the next person, and then the next person. You see, his one idea of change led to change for the whole of the room, because he understood that leadership is not only finding innovation, you have to find an opportunity to empower another generation. For that 10th person that was in line knows none of the professor's original payment. Doors, ladies and gentlemen. That perspective is extremely unique, and I'm not going to take too long. There's no benediction at the end. But I'd like to convict you to sort of ask that question on how you see leadership. What does it look like for you to hold the door? The first step, I guess, in a way, is opening the door. A number of my team is here today. And I remember, let me tell you, in 28 years, I'm convinced in November I might turn 41.
So this is Councilman Keith. He's talking about opening the doors for the next generation. Open the doors for your brothers and your sisters. Martell, what are you doing in the community? You're praying on women. You're not a pillar of the community, but yet you want to make fun of this man. You want to put this sign up saying this man was arrested. He need a GoFundMe. You